Ram 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 Ram
Ma, I'm very thankful to do this, and I think I speak for everyone when I say this is such a big blessing, not just for us who spent the weekend with you, but for this whole country, for all Serbia, that you are here.
Thank you so much for saying this. And I, for my part, feel absolutely overwhelmed to be here in this beautiful, beautiful ashram of Santoshima and Kriyama and the whole band of devotees, you know, shining with their soul's love and their beautiful love expressing itself in continuous, devoted seva, not only to me, to everyone who attended this function. It's truly, truly overwhelming.
Thank you so much. We are all very thankful and blessed. Thank you for doing this short interview for us. We spoke a lot, you spoke a lot over the weekend, and I will just reflect back on some of the topics. So my first question is, today the world is so noisy and fast, and everything is happening all at once. How can we stay inwardly turned in this busy, noisy world?
I think we are also very busy with our everyday life. And amidst all this busyness, the only way, the only savior is remembering God. And my master, Bhagavan Yogiramsuratkumar, said, the easiest way to connect with God, the easiest way to remember God is remembering the name of God, however busy you are. Even while buying vegetables in the market, or shopping, or busy driving to the office, and whatever be the busyness of our work, we could still remember, we could still connect with God just by remembering the name. He said, remembering the name is remembering God, and remembering God is living in the powerful presence of God. And so, I think remembering God is the only way, is the only saving grace for all the difficulties of today's life.
Thank you. Yesterday, we chanted for well-being of Serbia and the whole world. So how can our pursuit for truth become of universal help and not just a personal experience?
My master said, Bhagavan Yogiramsuratkumar said, when you do a dharma, like feeding 10,000 people, it's a dharma of feeding only 10,000 people. You get the merit for that, yes, but it stops there. But when you utter the name of God, then it helps the whole world because it releases such powerful energy of the divine which unfolds itself and enfolds the entire cosmos. So one single nama releases so much of divine energy upon the whole world, and this energy is very sattvic. So this, I think, is the best way to handle everything in life. And I would say in simply chanting the name, we are invoking the presence of God, and God knows what is to be done for the individual and for the world. In fact, Bhagavan Yogiramsuratkumar said, when you keep on chanting the name, you don't even have to pray separately. The presence knows what is needed for you, what is needed for the world. And it will definitely do the needful. There is no doubt about it. In fact, sometimes he would say, you don't have to instruct God what to do, when to do, how to do. God knows. He is running the whole world. He knows the situations. And He is behind this world show. So, of course, for our own satisfaction, we have to pray to God that please uplift my own mind to a higher level of consciousness and let me do my share of peace and harmony with people. If everyone, in fact, there is a saying that if you uplift yourself to the highest, it will automatically be upliftment of the whole world. So praying for the sake of the world, praying for myself, we can do only for our satisfaction. But in truth, our chanting the name itself will do. We can leave it to God, who is the governor of the whole cosmos. He will definitely do what is required for the individual and for the world. But for our satisfaction, we have to express it, and we get the satisfaction that we have prayed. So, let us pray for our own individual upliftment and the upliftment of the whole world. I think they go together.
They're not separate.
They are not separate.
Okay.
From a higher point of view.
From our point of view, it often seems...
Because we divide everything. Individual, universal. So for our satisfaction, the individual prayer and then the cosmic prayer can be done.
Okay. We often think we are making decisions, we are making choices. We think a lot of it depends on us. And we spoke a lot these past 2 days how everything is divine will, everything is Father's will.
Yes.
What is the place of our own effort in this?
That's a very good question. And the fundamental fact, the truth is that there is only one will at work all the time, and that is the divine will. And even behind the so-called free will of the individual, there is only the divine will. I often say in my satsangs that the free will is the free will of God. Even the free will of the individual is the free will of God. Which means your question is very well placed, because what is the role of self-effort? If everything is only the divine will, should we just keep quiet and not act up to our ambitions or do our share of service to people? And what about our own individual advancement in life? Now, the thing is, we all identify ourselves with the ego self. We identify ourselves with the body and the ego self. As long as we do this, there must be self-effort. It is, of course, it helps to have a wider view of things. Even as we make self-effort, we must know that even the self-effort, the very thought and the action of self-effort come only from the divine will. And this self-effort is being made helplessly. Meaning, even behind that is the divine will that makes you do the self-effort also. So this self-effort, because of our identification with the body, gives us satisfaction that we are making effort. But remember, you are making your self-effort helplessly because the divine will is behind it. And this self-effort is absolutely necessary for everyone to achieve anything in this world or in the inner advancement.
So we must always remember that too is divine.
Yes. You can't help it. Making self-effort cannot be helped because the self-effort is ego self-effort, and we live and work from the ego frame all the time. So, by the free will of God, the free will of ego will be working, and it will be making efforts helplessly. You understand what I mean?
Yes, I understand.
So, you cannot help making self-effort. And it is absolutely necessary for your own achievement in this life or in the inner progress.
And it sounds like it's very important to remember its divine will,
If
not
you
to
remember,
forget.
if you remember that even behind my free will and behind my self-effort, there is only the divine will. Then, your consciousness expands.
Thank you. I think
This
that
consciousness, the individual consciousness, has to expand and expand and expand to embrace the whole cosmos. That the individual will becomes truly the divine will alone.
Thank you. I think that will help many listeners and seekers.
The self-effort is absolutely necessary because we feel we are individuals. So from this frame, we have to make self-effort for any achievement.
I have a quote here from Bhagavan. He says, to nourish the tree, water the root. The root will take care of the tree. So in our practice, in our sadhana, what is the root? What should we nourish the most?
In very practical terms, I often say that for the welfare of anybody, for your own welfare or for the welfare of anybody, you pray to God. You chant His name and invoke His presence and pray to Him. By praying to Him, He will be able to do what is necessary, what is needful. But when we approach individually people for help, it may happen or may not happen. But the higher power will definitely do the needful if your prayer has depth and honesty, sincerity. And so, what I think is that root, he says, actually, it's followed by his saying that when you serve this beggar, you are serving the whole humanity. You are serving the whole creation. Because God-men, they have become one with God, they have become one with the whole creation. So when you serve Him, it is serving the whole creation, serving the whole world. So they are the roots of the earth. I think Jesus Christ says, we are the salt of the earth. And Yogiramsuratkumar Bhagavan says, we are the root of the earth. And they have come in their particular forms only to help the humanity. So any help or any prayer done with the help of the grace of God will be very powerful and will definitely do the needful. So the thing is, the grace acts in three ways. Sometimes, as soon as we pray to God for something, we get it. And then we think, oh, this is God. He has given me what I wanted. And you celebrate this grace. And sometimes He makes you wait. And you may have to wait and wait. But at the end, He gives you something much better than what you asked for. And the third type of grace is, no matter how much you chant the Nama, how much you pray, you may not get what you wanted. Then you can understand here, getting it is not the grace, not getting it is grace, because it's going to do some harm to you later on. So Bhagwan is withholding it. This is what Yogiramsuratkumar himself, he said, this beggar is your wish-fulfilling tree. Kalpataru, yes, but with a difference. This beggar will not give you something which you ask for if it is harmful to you. So the thing is, when you come to this grace, initially it is like LKG. You expect God to give you whatever you want. And then only you accept Him as God. Otherwise you say, what God is He? And then you may go in search of another God. But afterwards, slowly, 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 you begin to understand, as your wisdom enhances, then you begin to understand that everything is grace. Whether you get something or not, it is grace. Bhagwan said, God is perfect. His leelas are perfect. And whatever He does can only be grace. If it happens, it is necessary for your spiritual growth, for your spiritual transformation. So we'll have to learn to accept whatever happens as grace of God. In the end, you will see how it is grace also. And that is the spiritual growth. That is spiritual transformation. Starting with insisting upon getting what you wanted, and now you come to understand slowly, 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 everything is only grace. And finally, there is nothing but grace alone. So that is the state of final realization. So it's okay, since we cannot reach that stage easily, in our daily life, if there is any particular prayer, for example, somebody's daughter is not getting married, getting delayed, or a person is out of job and he wants a good job, and maybe the married couple may be 10 years and still no child. So they can keep one prayer at a time at the feet of Bhagwan, and they can keep chanting the name. Because chanting the name invokes the powerful presence of the Supreme. So as you keep on praying, praying is begging. You keep on begging God to give you something which you miss terribly. So the grace will act up to it and grant it.
And even if it doesn't, we need to remind ourselves that that too is grace.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. If you were a mature soul, you will slowly begin to understand that. Somehow, God will arrange things in such a way that you begin to understand whatever happens is only for your greater good. Whatever happens is only a blessing because it's God-given. God cannot do any harm to you. He's our well-wisher. He has created us, and He is supposed to be the ocean of grace. So the question is, an ocean of grace, how can He give you this endless suffering, cruelties? And the question is, whatever He gives is only grace. So but it takes a lot of wisdom to understand that. And for that wisdom, your heart has to expand and expand and expand. And how will you do it? Sadhana. And what is sadhana? Connecting with God in some way or the other, intensely and continuously, or if not, as much as possible.
There's a saying in Serbia, God will only give you that which you can withhold.
See, beautiful, beautiful. So that is it. The same idea is being expressed in different ways by different godmen. So that is it. Yogiramsuratkumar taught me 3 things. Whatever happens at any moment in anybody's life is the best that can happen to you at that moment. Wherever you are placed in life at any moment is the best place for you at that moment. And then he also said, the closer you are to God, the higher will be your interpretation of any happening. Reversely, the higher will be your interpretation naturally, the closer you are to God. So if we remember these three things, whatever happens, happens by the will of God and it is grace. It happens because it's necessary for my spiritual growth. And I should be able to accept it as a blessing from God because it's for my spiritual transformation, which is a greater blessing, in fact. And like you said, the Serbian saying, so whatever happens is necessary, and it's grace.
I want to reflect on one thing you said over the weekend. You said how reading, listening about Ramana's experience, for example, you said, I want that experience. It's not enough to hear how it happened to somebody else. How can it become my experience, my truth? So I'm wondering, with all of us reading, listening, all that happening, how can we not fall asleep a little bit and still maintain that inner fire and pursuit of the truth and that experience to happen to us?
There is a saying of Ramana Bhagavan, whatever is meant to happen will happen no matter how much you try to stop. And whatever is not meant to happen will not happen however much you try for this to happen. So the best course of action is to keep silence. So the thing is, our inner progress, spiritual progress, or the outer progress in life, everything depends upon God's will, the divine will, right? So if there should be inspiration, we need inspiration. We have to keep this lamp of inspiration burning all the time. And for that, we can pray to God, please give me inspiration, constant inspiration, so that I shall do it with intensity. And so the one way to connect with God is seeking inspiration from God Himself, so that we overcome our own negativities. And the other time is willpower, which is again God's inspiration. The willpower is, or for inspiration in your self-effort, you can read the books and teachings of the great soul. When you read the book of a great soul, you are in the company of the great soul, because those words have come out of their mouth and they carry their power, the inner power. And they would live on and on and on. It's not for just one time. So when you read an inspiring book of a great soul, you are living in the company of that great soul. So the blessing and inspiration will come into you. And as far as Nama chanting is concerned, I tell them, Bhagavan has said, whether you have devotion or not, concentration or not, and faith or not, just keep chanting the name. Because chanting the name itself is a great attempt, an effort towards God. So I say in the beginning, don't bother about devotion or faith or concentration. Just keep chanting. Let it be quantity.
In the beginning, it's quantity.
And the quantity will bring in quality. How? When you sing, when you catch some tune first time, a song, the very first time you are not able to sing properly. You make lots of mistakes. So you do it second time and the third time, you keep on repeating it. So the repetition for 20 times. The 21st time, Even if I wake you up in the middle of the night, you will be able to sing perfectly. So this 21 times repetition has led to quality. So as far as Nama chanting is concerned, I tell them, don't bother about devotion, concentration, or faith. Just keep chanting, chanting. Even give me the number of chant, the number of names that you chant. And in course of time, you will see how this brings in quality.
And you spoke a lot about the importance of having a guru and the role the guru plays in one's life. So what would you say to someone who doesn't have a guru?
They can worship their favorite god and pray to God. They can do whatever they already know, and in doing they can also pray to God to give them guidance in the path. And if I feel that I do need a guru, that very badly, then the prayer. For me, everything is nama and prayer. Nama chanting invokes the presence. I follow it up with prayer. They are very powerful and they will do. And God will definitely do the needful. So even for your inner transformation, if you want so much bhakti, you want willpower, you want concentration, you want faith, unshakable faith, pray to God. Please give me bhakti. Give me one-pointed concentration. Give me the strength to continue my sadhana intensely. Prayer, prayer, prayer. Prayer is begging. When you beg God, your ego is at its lowest. So the grace will flow into you. So isn't that the easiest way? Right from the beginning, we're all very emotional, you know. Even as a child, whenever we feared something, that father would beat us, father would scold us, mother would scold us, immediately you pray. When the examinations come near, then we resort to prayer. So the prayer has been very natural for us. And the prayer is very, very effective.
But we somehow from childhood, as we grow up, we distance ourselves from it. It's like we forget.
You know, your intellect develops, and then you would like to think that you are very intelligent and very intellectual, and then somehow the personal aspect of this sadhana takes a back seat. And that doesn't matter. Everything is happening only by the divine will. So Yogiramsuratkumar Bhagavan told me that whatever happens is only a gain. Whatever happens is only auspicious. Whatever happens is only progress. So even your temporary laziness may lead to something positive. It's like when you climb up a mountain. The structure of any mountain is such there are upslopes and downslopes. Upslope, you know that I'm going up, I'm climbing up. But the downslope, we often think it's a setback. But if you have the peak in view all the time, whether it is upslope or downslope, you know that you are going only towards a peak. So every effort that we make, everything that happens in life happens by the will of God. All that add up only to this point, what? I am moving towards God. It's evolution. Don't ever think anything is negative. Bhagavan repeatedly said everything is auspicious. There is no question of anything being inauspicious. If it looks inauspicious, it is from the worldly point of view. But for the goal of life, which is God, it is definitely auspicious. It's going to give you a push towards God. And so it's one greater step in your sadhana. Because the suffering generally cleanses people.
Especially when we look back at some of our sufferings in life, I think most of us see how those experiences led to something bigger.
Yes. You will somehow know, God will make it a point to let you know that all the sufferings of life have led you to a higher step in sadhana.
So what would you advise to someone who doesn't believe in God, who can't connect to nama and to repeating the name of God? How can that person find relief in suffering, and what would you tell them?
I would advise them to attend some satsang. But even to attend some satsang, you have to go. You have to make an effort to go. And if they are that hopeless, leave it to the divine will, because the divine will knows. Here I want to say one thing, that even when you are born out of the womb of your mother, you are born with the blueprint of your life. So everything, every detail of everybody's life is being run only by the divine. And I often say that everybody's life is a finished movie running on the screen, right? So if somebody does not have faith in God, God knows when to bring it. It's already there, right? Something in their life would happen. That's why I said I started talking about suffering. God would create a situation in your life where you will be reduced to utter helplessness, and then they will turn to God. Everybody gets their moment in life when they have to turn to God, because God is the goal of life. He created your very body and put life in it and is sustaining it so that you remember Him. So the whole life is meant only for remembering God. So much so, Bhagavan used to say, Yogiramsuratkumar, Bhagavan used to say, remembering God is dharma, forgetting God is adharma. And he also said, it's only when you remember God, you truly live. The times you forget God, you are dead. You carry your own dead body, even though the body is still breathing. Why? Because the body is not serving the purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? Remembering God. So, would not God do it Himself? None of us really exist. You know that the ego, I, and your breath, they are rooted in the presence of the Supreme Divinity inside, the Supreme Consciousness, which we call Chaitanya. The Chaitanya is within you, and your every breath is rooted in the Chaitanya, the in-breath, out-breath. And along with the breath, God has put the ego, I also. So the ego, I, and the breath, they start together, they subside together. And it is God who is activating not only your breath, but also your ego. And so God has put ego in all the creatures, and He is activating also. And in that sense, it is God alone who is playing the role of every creature. Not only the human beings, the role of an ant, the role of a bird, an animal, or the trees and plants, or all those natural elements. That means He alone exists. There is nothing else, no one else. Because He has created the bodies of the human beings and all that exists. All the manifestations come from Him, and all the manifestations are activated by Him. So He is playing the role of all that exists here. He alone exists. This was the declaration of Yogiramsuratkumar, that my Father alone exists, there is nothing else, no one else. So what is the meaning? We are all puppets. And the divine puppeteer, the Chaitanya inside, and that divine puppeteer is pulling the strings of your in-breath, out-breath. And then your eyes begin to see, ears begin to hear, and your brain begins to act. The brain will not act without the breath. And the breath is activated by the divine. The breath has been put in there, first place, and it's activated by the divine. So the divine is responsible for your very breath, for the working of your brain. But we don't see all that. We say our brain is running our life. And the thoughts that come to us are our thoughts. So we think that we are thinking, we are speaking, we are acting. But remember, all this cannot happen if there is no breath in the body. And the breath is there because of the presence of the divine inside. So the only existence is the divine inside all the creatures. So it's all one life. It's all one being. But the egos are many, 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 in different forms. The whole cosmos. And so we have come from the one to the many. Now the many must become the one. We have to return from the subtlest to the gross, to the grossest. Now from the grossest we have to go to the subtlest. And that is why the ego requires sadhana to kill itself. So the ego must die so that we return to our original state of consciousness.
Are you suggesting nama chanting as a solution for problems?
Yes, the easiest solution today is for these many complicated problems of life, because it's not that everybody can sit in a place and do this meditation or Atma Vichara or the Advaita Vedanta. For people afflicted with so many problems in life, Nama chanting is the best. It is the easiest and fastest way to connect with God. And you see, for Nama chanting, there are no hard and fast rules. There are no rules and regulations at all. You don't have to take a bath and sit for Nama chanting. And what is more, there is no specific place that you should sit and do it. You can do it anywhere, anytime, in any condition. Like while cooking also, you can do the Nama chanting. While bathing, you can do the Nama chanting. While doing work at home, you can do the Nama chanting. While driving to the office, you can do the Nama chanting. And wherever it is, the minute you chant, you are connecting with the supreme divinity. That you have to remember. Imagine living, we have instant tea, instant coffee, instant food that people are after. Should we not have instant God? And instant God happens while you do this Nama chanting. And so, repetition of the divine name is very powerful, and you can do it anyway. When there are so many people, you can do it loudly, and because if there are 100 people, you chant only one Nama, but 100 Namas together will be very powerful, very high energy. You get the benefit of 100 Namas. So like this, massive chanting is recommended. Otherwise, the mental chanting is preferred. It has more power than an individual loud chanting. And you can also write the name. Writing is also powerful because while you write, your whole body adjusts itself for you to write comfortably. Your eyes are on the Nama, your hand is writing. So most of your being participate in writing the Nama with absorption. So this mental chanting or likhita japa, as we call it, writing the Nama, are more powerful. And or if you want to do love chanting, you do it with so many people, it's most welcome.
Thank you, Ma. I think
And
this will be beneficial for so many people.
It's all thanks to God in the form of my master Yogiramsuratkumar, who taught me all these things. Whatever I spoke came from his mouth, and it is his wisdom. And therefore, they are truths. Thank you.